Is the universe dreaming you into existence? What if your dreams aren't just random stories your brain makes up at night? What if they're little glimpses into other realities, where other versions of you are living out all the choices you didn't make? That weird, disconnected feeling when you wake up from a super vivid dream. Maybe it's not just your brain rebooting. Maybe it's your consciousness, just getting back from a very long trip. Section 1. The disquieting dream. Every single night, you close your eyes and visit worlds that feel both like home and completely alien. You can fly, you can breathe underwater, you can have conversations with people you've lost. The logic is wonky, the scenarios are bizarre, but the feelings, the joy, the terror, the love, man, those are as real as it gets. Then you wake up, and poof, it's all gone, like smoke. We're told this is all perfectly normal. Mainstream neuroscience has a few pretty solid explanations for why we dream. There's the activation synthesis hypothesis, which suggests dreams are just your brain trying to make a coherent story out of random electrical signals firing off during sleep, like a biological screensaver. Other theories say dreaming is how we sort and file our memories, like a mental filing clerk deciding what to keep from the day. And then there's the threat simulation theory, the idea that dreams are a safe place to practice for scary situations, like a nightly disaster drill without any actual danger. These theories make sense. They're based on biology, and they paint a picture of the brain as an amazing, self-maintaining machine. And yet, does that really cover it for you? It doesn't quite capture the sheer intensity or the profound weirdness of it all. That dream you keep having where you're back in school, totally unprepared for a test. Is that just some random neuron misfiring? Or does that recurring anxiety feel like it means something more? Something in you is a little curious though, isn't it? You've felt it. You've woken up with the answer to a problem you've been stuck on, or with a feeling so intense it colors your entire day. It's in that gap between the neat scientific story and what you actually experience that a much wilder idea can sneak in. Section 2. The portal in your mind? So what if we're looking at this from the wrong angle? What if dreams aren't just a weird quirk of our brain chemistry? What if they're a product of consciousness itself, let off its physical leash for a few hours? This is where we wander into the seriously mind-bending, and yes, highly speculative territory, where quantum physics and consciousness meet. One of the wildest ideas to come out of modern physics is the many worlds interpretation. First proposed by a guy named Hugh Everett back in 1957. Basically, it suggests that every time a quantum event could go one of several ways, the universe actually splits. In one universe, you took that job you were offered. In another, you didn't. In still another, you caught the bus this morning instead of missing it. According to this theory, every single one of these parallel realities is just as real as this one. Now, to be crystal clear, the many worlds interpretation is a physics framework. It says nothing at all about dreaming. But some philosophers have grabbed that idea and run with it, asking an incredible question. What if, when we sleep, our consciousness can sort of drift between these parallel universes? This fringe hypothesis proposes that when the logical day-to-day parts of our brain quiet down, our awareness can tap into what those other yous are up to. In this speculative view, your dreams are you peeking into your other lives. The dream where you're a world-famous musician. Maybe that's a quick link to the timeline where you actually stuck with those guitar lessons. That frustrating feeling of being stuck in a dream, unable to move. Perhaps it's an emotional echo from another version of you wrestling with a similar problem. It even reframes lucid dreaming, Maybe you're not controlling a dream, but trying to influence what's happening in another reality. This is, of course, pure speculation. There isn't a shred of hard evidence to back it up. But it's a heck of a thought experiment. It makes you question what you even are, and suggests the line between your imagination and reality might be a whole lot fuzzier than you think. What do you think? Have you ever had a dream that felt so real, it was more like a memory? Tell your story in the comments. I'm genuinely curious to read them. Section 3. Consciousness as the fabric of reality. To even get on board with the idea of dreams as portals, we first have to question something even more basic: the assumption that consciousness is something the brain makes. The standard scientific view is that awareness is just a side effect of a really complex brain, like a picture appearing on a computer screen. But what if that's completely backward? What if the brain doesn't create consciousness, but receives it? This is the central idea of a model that's getting more and more attention: that consciousness is a fundamental property of the universe, just like gravity or time. In this view, the universe isn't just a bunch of dead stuff that accidentally woke up. Instead, the entire cosmos is humming with potential awareness. Think of it like a radio. A radio doesn't create music. The music is already out there, traveling as invisible radio waves. The radio is just the fancy receiver built to tune into a specific frequency and turn that signal into sound. What if your brain is just a biological radio, tuning into a universal field of consciousness and translating that into your personal, individual experience? This isn't some brand new idea. It echoes what ancient philosophies have said for millennia. In Vedic philosophy, there's the concept of Brahman, a single universal consciousness from which everything in the universe springs. The individual self, or Atman, is just a temporary expression of Brahman, and our feeling of being separate is an illusion called Maya. Some modern physicists are exploring similar ideas, with recent research exploring quantum consciousness models involving things like field resonance and entanglement. For instance, physicist Dr. John Hagelin has controversially suggested that the unified field that physicists have been looking for, a single field that explains all forces and particles, is actually one and the same as a universal field of consciousness. It's important to know, though, that these specific claims are tied to his work with transcendental meditation and have not been embraced by the mainstream scientific community, which points out they can't be tested. Still, the core idea that consciousness might be fundamental is gaining traction with people trying to solve the hard problem of consciousness. Why do physical brain processes result in subjective feelings, like the taste of chocolate or the feeling of love? If consciousness is fundamental, the problem vanishes. The brain isn't producing the experience, it's just filtering and localizing it. Section 4. The grand dream of the cosmos. So let's tie these two wild ideas together. If dreams are peepholes into parallel worlds, and if our brains are just receivers for a universal consciousness, what does that mean for us? It leads to the biggest idea of all, that you are a thought in the mind of the universe. If consciousness is the basic stuff of reality, then everything we see, the stars, the planets, our own bodies, our thoughts, are just patterns or vibrations in a cosmic mind. The universe isn't a thing that has consciousness. The universe is consciousness. We're not just watching the movie of reality. We are the characters, projected into existence by the cosmos itself. In this picture, our individual minds are like little whirlpools in a giant river of consciousness. We have this temporary feeling of being an individual me, separate from everything else. but we are, and always have been, part of the whole river. When we dream, maybe the edges of our little whirlpool blur, and we touch the experiences of other whirlpools, our parallel selves. Thinking this way changes everything. That feeling of awe when you look up at a starry sky. That's not just you admiring the view, it's the universe recognizing itself. The deep connection you feel to another person, that's a moment when 2 points of consciousness remember they come from the same source, and it completely reframes death. If you are just a temporary pattern in a universal field, then the end of your body isn't the end. It's the dissolution of the pattern. It's your individual awareness flowing back into the infinite ocean of consciousness it came from. In a very real sense, it's waking up. Conclusion. We started with a simple question about dreams, and by taking a trip to the weird edges of physics and philosophy, we've ended up with the idea that the entire universe might be a dream. That you, me, and everything we know are just thoughts in a cosmic mind. Is any of this a scientific fact? Nope. It's a perspective. A lens to look at reality through, built from clues at the edge of science and wisdom from ancient thought. We may never be able to prove we're living inside a universal dream, but just considering the possibility can change how we live. It can replace isolation with a feeling of deep connection. It can make the ordinary feel magical. It invites us to live with more wonder, more curiosity, and a deeper sense of being a part of this amazing, mysterious dream of existence. After all, the only way to prove you're in a dream is to wake up. If this trip expanded your mind, subscribe for more adventures into the biggest questions out there. Let's keep exploring together.